Hello faithful viewers and welcome back to another Transformers review. This time we're looking at the Transformers Prime RID Weaponizer Optimus Prime. So Weaponizer Prime here turns into a truck that is reminiscent of the Peterbilt version that he turns into in the first 3 live action films. Obviously Prime took a lot of inspiration visually from the live action films. And yeah, this figure has a bit of a mixed reputation. There are some parts of the fandom which quite like it, and there are parts of the fandom which heavily detest it. And I am kind of unsure as to where I fall in that spectrum. With the truck, so the front end here, beautiful. Absolutely lovely. Can't fault this for a moment. And then you've got that. What of the effeth is that of? What is this? Why? So the curse of Optimus Prime trucks actually dates back all the way here, apparently, because modern Optimus Primes, for some reason, have issues with this part of their vehicle modes. Did the budget run out? Possibly. This is awful. So obviously that's a huge detractor of this figure, and it's one of the most significant reasons as to why a lot of people poo-poo this guy. It's such a shame, isn't it? I mean, what could they have done to improve this? Well, flip those bits in, maybe. Extra panels to cover all of this. But otherwise, it's a decent vehicle mode. Again, especially this front half here is lovely. Beautiful colorization of the red and the blue. In terms of how he rolls, pretty darn good. In terms of what becomes what, well, enough said. At least his head is well hid. Oh no, wait, it's not. In terms of weapons and accessories then, Optimus comes with one gun. One, and it's not even painted. In terms of weapon storage, for where you can put this in vehicle mode, a lot of people tend to plug it onto the side here. I've seen other people who rotate his hands out that away and just plug it in like that. And it doesn't look too terrible, but what you can also do, you can't exactly plug it in here, but you can rest it dead center of the trailer because it's molded in such a way where it almost slots in perfectly. So I like to put it right there. Again, it doesn't tab, so it's a little bit loose. But I think that's probably the most streamlined and symmetrical and visually pleasing position to put it. Now, of course, this is the Weaponizer Optimus Prime, and he comes with a big old gimmick. And for this guy, if we unclip the grille and leave it hanging down and press this big grey button, Gatling guns! Which kind of works for the vehicle mode, and it does work for the robot mode as well, if not for the big old panels on the side, but I will show you what I mean in robot mode. And then to reprime the Gatling guns, you want to be sliding this red lever down, and you see there are some lights there, but again, show them off later. And that just gets them back into place, and then you can just reattach that, but I won't fully reattach it because we'll go into transformation now. So full transformation then, if you haven't already removed the gun, do so, and then we can begin. We might as well begin by just bringing the grille section down like that. Then we are going to come to the side of the figure. We are going to unclip these grey tabs here and just push them all the way back on both sides of the cab. So unclip and rotate round, and then panning our camera up slightly, we are going to manoeuvre the entire top section of the cab up and forward and just leave it there for now. We will neaten that up toward the end. And then we are going to watch where we put our fingers and thumbs because there are 2 trigger points for the gimmick, and undoubtedly we will set it off at some point. Then we will refocus our camera, we will open up these bits here and spread them out like so. Then we will untap the arms from inside the trailer bed. And there we go, we activated the gimmick, god damn it. We've untapped the arms, so we are going to now just move them out to the side, and then we are going to just leave them down and out of the way for just a short while. Coming to the legs, I wonder how we transform these. That's it. Panning back up to the top of the figure, we are going to rotate the arms up and over the wheels and then tab in the chest pieces appropriately. So that's one, spin this up, tab it in, and that's 2. We're going to take the grey grill and get it out, and then we are going to bring his head up, which it would help if you all could see that, wouldn't it? Bring his head up from inside his chest, and then we are going to basically just hinge this back and get it flat somehow against his back like that. And then really just to finish things off, we're going to focus our attention on this bit of kibble here. We are going to very carefully untab these side pieces here. Now, I am a little bit concerned about the way that you do this because you need to bring them inward, but there are some, you know, thin typical tabs here, and I'm sure that they are going to break because you are effectively smashing them against the inner lip here, and it worries me. It really does. Once you get them separated out that far, then you activate the gimmick, don't you? Once you have the panels separated, then you are meant to rotate them and then leave them flat against the back at roughly this angle here. And then finish things off just by tabbing it all into securely in place. So what can I say about Optimus's robot mode? Well, from the front here, it looks really lovely. He looks like the spitting image of his CG render. In fact, he might be proportionally the closest to his actual on-screen depiction out of any of his figures. So that's a bonus. The problems, of course, are when you turn him round. He has one of the most egregious backpacks I've ever seen on a figure, and some of the most hollow and uninspired legs I've ever seen on a figure. What a disappointment, and what sacrifices had to be made just for kind of a petty gimmick, really. And this was probably one of the last times that they actually did gimmicks like this. And as for that gimmick, in robot mode, you're meant to activate it via this little switch here. If you push it that way, then... well, they're meant to flip downward with gravity, but obviously that didn't work, so let's just try that again, because his hips are too far back. There you go. I do like the way that they spin. A little bit weird how one spins for longer than the other, but I can look past that. The issue, of course, is the fact that these panels are just stuck up like that, and you can't fold them away, and it just looks ugly. Another significant issue is, of course, that this lever here is still active, so you can still trigger it with that. So you've got to be really mindful as to where you are gripping this guy in robot mode, because you can just activate it willy-nilly, as I've been. Also, for weapons, he can hold his gun. You can't swap out his hand for it like you can in the show. He just holds it. It's fine, I'll let that pass. It covers his hand from the front angle significantly well to create that illusion. Just a real shame that it ain't painted. He's so back heavy as well, with all of that just chungus on there. Which is probably why he's got such gargantuan heels. But once again, not enough engineering to accommodate folding them away appropriately. It's just... oh, god damn it. In terms of articulation then, Prime can turn his head left and right, but he does meet some resistance as you do so. Notice the click here. And like that. I believe it's on a ball joint, but it's not a very good ball joint, is it? Because he's got no neck. Although he does have a lot of good detailing on his shoulder blades. This is not him looking down, by the way. This is just crap engineering. He can't look up either. In terms of the shoulders, he has 360 rotation. He can spread his arms that far out, which is good. And you do have movable shoulder pads to accommodate that as well. He has 360 rotation via a mushroom peg in his upper bicep, and he does have 90 degrees of elbow bend as well, and then his wrists can rotate 360 degrees. That's kind of where the good articulation, most people say, stops. He has nothing at the waist, and he has no ab crunch. He's got a forward kick, he's got a decent back kick, and he's got a beautiful spread on some beautiful ratchets. It's a shame he's got no ratchets going forward, because then his stability and his posture would be a lot better. He's got ratcheted knees of over 90 degrees of bend. He's got 360 knee swivel as well. And then in terms of the feet, he's got toe up and down wiggle waggle. Overall articulation is not the worst thing I've ever seen, especially his top half. The arms in particular are very, very good. The legs, kind of basic, what you would expect. Just again, real pity that he doesn't have any forward ratchets there, because that would really help with his stability. For size comparisons then, here he is with first edition RC, Prime RID cliff jumper, Prime RID wheeljack, and the 2007 movie leader Megatron. To get Optimus Prime transformed back into his vehicle mode, we are going to relieve him of his weapon for a start, and just put that over to the side. I'm going to keep his head straight. And then where to begin? Let's start with uncoupling the chest plates. And that then frees up his arms. And we're just going to move them out and leave them hanging down like that. And then we're going to push his head down and into his chest cavity. We might as well do his legs, which are very, very simple. Simply fold up his feet and snap them together. And that is it for the legs. Just like that. Then we're going to turn our attention to the rest of this Goliath here. Let's rotate the arms out that way, continuing to just get them out of harm's way. And then with this backpack, we are going to unclip these bits here. And then we're going to disconnect somehow all of this. There we go, like that. And flip that round to the front there, but we'll deal with this bit last. We're going to take the grill piece, bring it forward and snap it into place, making sure it is connected at the top. Okay, that's the top snapped in, and then snap it in at the wheels as well. And there you go, that's the front of the cab. Then bring the legs like this, just keep this up for now. We are going to rotate the arms so that they come in like this. Have them bent at the elbows. Do whatever you want with the positioning of the hands. A lot of people like them like that. You can also have them down. I'm going to have them down, but it is entirely personal preference depending on how you want the blaster to be stored. Make sure that this is up correctly. Line everything up. You're going to tab the arms into the legs like that. We're going to close up these faux windows here so that they disappear at the back. You're meant to tap them together, something like that. And then finally we are going to take this top bit here, and then we're going to rotate these panels, clip them in like that and like that. And then we should just be able to fold all of this over. There we go, like that. Fold that all over like that, and then we're just going to secure this in place by tabbing these bits in there, that in there. And that is Weaponizer Optimus Prime, fully transformed back into his vehicle mode. So this Optimus really is a mixed bag. On the one hand, from dead center, he looks visually really appealing. But when you have the figure in hand and when you really start to explore all of his intricacies, you come across 1001 problems. The massive, just disgustingly huge and obnoxious backpack, the gimmick which fires off with the slightest touch on various different places, the hollowed out legs, the unpainted weapon. He has a lot of disadvantages, and the limited articulation also, meaning that you really can't do anything in terms of his legs. His upper body, sure, there's articulation for days there that you can do, but you can't get him into any real dynamic poses because the legs just are limited and they cannot support the massive backpack, meaning that you're just going to have such a hard time getting any dynamicism out of this guy whatsoever. I cannot wholeheartedly recommend you this figure. I think if you are to get any iteration of the TF Prime version of Optimus, it should be the first edition. Now that said, visually, This guy, at least from dead center, I think is the closest looking thing to his animation model, but still, he is not really suited for hardcore collectors. Maybe children who just want gimmick-ridden figures to just play with, sure. But for hardcore collectors who display these things on shelves with pride, yeah, maybe pass. That's our look at the very mixed Weaponizer Optimus Prime. Thank you everybody so much for stopping by and checking out this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see you all later.